Hey guys, Jason Nedved here. You guys know what it is. Another weekend, another match. We had a match yesterday at my place, at my range. We had a good turnout, had a lot of fun, although it was really, really windy. So then that was Saturday. Now today's Sunday. We have the South Dakota State Championship. I kind of did that on purpose, you know, warm up for everybody to shoot this one. So now we are in Pierre, South Dakota. And you can see behind me, we got everybody set up and shooting, getting ready. I think we 60 to 80 shooters, something like that, but should be a good time. 10 stages here, already sighted in. Had to adjust my zero a little bit. I was a 10th low at 50 yards and a 10th and a half low, 2/10 low at 100. So I just adjusted my zero real quick, and then we're gonna give it a shot. We'll record some stages here and see how it goes. But right now I am tied for first in the state. I think there's a 5-way tie the way they keep scores. So we'll give it our best shot. I'm squatted with the top guys, so I do like that. It's not just random squatting or squat with your buddies or whatever. It is the top guys are all in the same squad. So I'll be shooting with everybody that is tied with me, and I'm pretty excited. It's 0 wind right now. Oh, I think it's like 2/10 of wind at 100 yards, but yeah, it should be a good time. I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. So just finishing up here, and the match went fairly well. I think I did well. We'll see how it goes, but like I said before, being squatted with the same people, I think I stayed ahead by a point or two. So we'll see how that goes for the South Dakota State Championship. There are other shooters here that came just to shoot the match, and they may or may not have beaten me. So I know, like when I talked to one guy, he dropped 3 all day, and I was at 5 at the time. So we'll see how it goes, but these last 2 stages, they really kicked my butt, so that kind of sucks leaving on that kind of note, but we got a few people still shooting here. I'll get my stuff packed up, and we'll see how it turns out.
Some of these stages, I have nothing positive to talk about.
Okay. So April Fool's, so he did do, for the South Dakota State Championship, he did do 5 stages of fire. That was this month's course of fire for NRL 22. So we had the April Fools, the bunny year ones, and stuff like that. So the first one you got there is the one on the rooftop. So how'd that go for you? How's that slick bit go? So you had the rooftop, you had the shingles there,
Right.
and then you had a laminated part for the sponsors of the match and stuff like that. How'd that go? We were worried about how slick that would have been.
I like this rooftop better than your rooftop.
It was skinnier, Joe.
But it had shingles.
Oh my God.
So I was able to actually sit on my toes and do a modified throw.
Okay.
You know, kind of a hunched over, and it worked pretty well. This one you had to shoot 2 rotations through the targets. One where you shoot out in your strong arm or strong hand, and then you come back in your support hand.
Yep.
And it went well. I got all my rounds off, didn't time out, and I got 10 out of 12 on it. So it was one of my better stages.
Did you miss some weak side?
I missed weak side, and I struggle with target acquisition on weak side. And I just need to practice my weak side more.
I know it may be more difficult when we got, 5 shots, 3 different targets, weak side. But what I traditionally do, if it's just one, I'll start on my strong side, get on the target, and then switch over. I know that's helped me.
Oh, to get into your position.
I know it'd be more difficult with as many targets as we had, but I've done that before. Yeah.
So, I think overall, I think it was good.
Did you use a rear bag?
I used a puff pillow for a rear support.
Yep.
And then I used a front bag with my plate.
Yep. Yep. I did the same thing. I used the medium up front, and then used I have that OG sticky light.
Yeah.
And I ran that at the back, and I was rock solid.
I think it, and I said, comparing the rooftop to other rooftops, with this one having actual asphalt shingles on it, I was able to get some traction on it. So I was able to control my position a lot better than
Slide down and try to find a boat on it.
Other rooftops.
Just stuff lying around. Yeah. All right, what do you got next?
All right. I'm all ears.
Yep, so another NRL one. So this one was the 55-gallon barrel and the 5-gallon bucket. And was this the one that was like 3 and 3?
Yep. Yeah.
And then moved to the bucket, and then 2 and 2, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And when we got around to these stages, I'd actually decided to show up, and this was another good stage for me. I was able to clean this one.
Yeah. Did you bag it or bipod it?
Bagged it.
Yep.
I bagged it all the way through.
We talked about it too, because there was one guy that wanted to bipod it and just run it in. But because we had to transition to that 5-gallon bucket, he didn't want to have to deal with getting it off or throwing it off or something. So.
I considered using a bipod, and then past experience in other matches trying to do that, it didn't work out for me in the past, so I decided against it today.
Yep. If it was just the barrel, the 55-gallon barrel, I would have bipoded it.
Yeah.
I would have pushed through, ran it close.
It felt good. The stage felt good.
Yep.
So it was one of my better ones.
Good. Yeah, I cleaned that one too.
Oh, let's get hopping.
So that's the tank trap, doing 3 off each tip, then 3 in the center.
Yep.
At, I think a 3-inch target. Yep.
Roast 100 yards.
That was super. We had switchy winds. I just put a 10th left into it, because today the winds were, 11:30. This morning it was straight 9 o'clock.
It was.
But then near the end of it, it was 11:30, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12:30. It was
pretty switchy at midday, but this was a good stage. Once again, I should have cleaned it. I dropped my last shot, and it was just
it's lazy.
3 o'clock.
Because that was our tiebreaker too.
Yeah.
Is that why you're racing, or were you running out of time?
No, I wasn't. I was just hurrying to get the
tiebreaker
fast tonight.
Yeah. Yep. How was the center though? Because the way that tank trap was positioned, when I closed my bolt, it was very, very, very close.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be too crowded. I mean, it was kind of tight in there with the angle you had to shoot, but had the bag in the middle and the plate, and I actually worked that one other stage. It worked really well for me. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, as I was laying out on that one, was pretty sweet. I just put a 10th left on it and totally good. And I had a nice little grip just right of center, so I just ran it.
Pay the tax ban. That's the 50-yard KYL. And
how'd that go?
I think the name tax ban threw me.
Oh,
because I was super intimidated. No, all kidding aside, I really like KYLs.
Yep.
Except the one today.
Really?
I don't know. We struggled. This was our first stage of the day, and our entire squad really struggled on it because we had some crazy mirage. And the wind no one could get a beat on the wind.
Yeah.
And that was tough. So.
For us, that was later in the day. And the mirage, it was blowing enough. But looking at the mirage and everything, it was coming from like 1 o'clock-ish. So I put 2 tenths on it. And then I went 2 tenths off of it. Because with my first round, the 1-inch target, my first round, went like 2 tenths off, and I'm like, unreal. So it's straight up. So luckily, running my Razor Gen 3, I seen that first round miss, and then I just adjusted and just bracketed it, and just bracketed the rest and just went. So I didn't mess with my wind because I was down my wind. I just seen where that bullet went, adjusted over, boom, 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 ready to clean the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I dropped that first one on the 1 inch. So that was the biggest target, but at least I was able to see that ring go through the air.
But you used that target.
Yep.
That you got some value on that miss.
Yep.
So that's what they say. If you're gonna miss, if you can get value from it.
Yeah.
The ones that really hurt is when you have a no call or you can't.
Yeah, you have no idea where it went.
Then it was just a waste.
Because even if you think about it, if I did hit it and I just nicked it, well, it's a KYL that's been shot up all day.
Yep.
I wouldn't have known I hit left edge, right edge, or whatever.
Right.
So if I would have got down to the 1/4 inch or something like that, I wouldn't have known, well, shoot, I wouldn't know that, hey, I did need to correct one way or the other. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I was trying to see the glass half full.
All right, then we had the Easter egg hunt.
So the tires.
The tires and the cinder blocks. Shooting double hangers at 60 and 100 yards. 12 rounds. Another decent stage for me. Once again, it dropped a couple, but I shot 10 out of 12 and trying to remember what my problem was on those 2 dropped shots. But after the start that I had, I was taking that. I was taking that points.
How was the tires for you? For me, they were a little bouncy.
They were bouncy. They weren't very stable. I also bagged that. And on the tires, you had to shoot the left side of the tires, and then you move to the right side of the tires. And so I cheated my positions on the left and right in a little bit, more toward the center than the further outside.
Yep.
And I was able to control the wobble a little bit more.
Yep.
And then of course moving to the cinder blocks, that was pretty.
That's where I messed.
Did you?
Yep. Swear to God, every shot with the tires, it was, oh, thank God I got it.
Yeah.
They were so bouncy.
They were
so bouncy. And my vertical was just horrible.
Yeah, they were bouncy.
So literally after every shot, it was just, oh, thank God I hit, And then I got to the cinder blocks and my first shot missed it. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I don't know if I had a flyer or what, but I was working with Chris the night before, after my match, and we were just working on, make sure when you squeeze the trigger, that your reticle stays on target, watch that round go. We're just focused on all that. So that was fresh in my mind. So I squeezed trigger, my reticle never left the target. So I'm like, what happened? So I'm checking dope and all that stuff. Like, where is this? But yeah, I went all right. Drop one off to a stable position. Yeah.
Giving everybody a chance.
Yep.
All right. Then we had, I'm seeing Double Army Man, the stage sponsored by Nedved Precision Shooting.
I hear it's pretty
Do you know that guy?
Yeah. Good place. A lot of stuff there.
Yeah, I think it's a good place.
Yeah, you've been there a couple times this week.
Customer service is pretty good.
Yeah.
Won't deliver your product, but he'll ship it to you.
Yeah.
So seeing Double Army Man, this is
that was tough.
This was a tough stage.
Why don't you show the camera that? I don't know how close or far, but look at all these army.
This was a tough stage.
Just the armament bit of it. Like, yeah, that's what we had to deal with. They were everywhere.
I mean, so at least for the viewers, we had targets at 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 yards.
Not in that order.
No, but then they corresponded with targets at distance. So you had to shoot a 50-yard Army Man, then you had to shoot a 100-yard Army Man that matched up. Then you came back and shot a 60-yard target and shot the corresponding 100-yard target. Then came back and shot 70 and the corresponding 110, 80, and 110, 90, and 120. And you had to shoot these from a spool, a big wooden wire spool. And so you had to start on one side of the spool and shoot 2 targets and then move to the center, shoot the next 2 set of targets, and then back and forth and keep rotating. And there was a lot of movement. There was no time to dial. So I didn't dial. There might have been time to dial. I chose not to dial because I recognized how much movement there was at target acquisition. So I opted to hold. And I think that was the right choice, but there's just a lot going on at that stage.
There was.
Luckily, match director had, for all the stages, but it was especially helpful on this stage, I thought, where he had the target identifier placards.
Yep.
So that otherwise you would have to have identified a kneeling Army man from a bazooka Army man, and
then a pistol one, the M3 one or whatever.
It just would have been impossible, right?
Yeah. So what he's talking about on all the stages, whatever stage number that was, he had cal placards, or what are they for? But he had placards that was, say, stage 5. It would be 5A, B, or 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D, whatever. So this one was labeled out as A, B, C, D. So it gave you your target order. It's just, so they were all different ranges.
And so, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 10 different targets, and you had to move 5 times.
Yep.
There's a lot going on.
5 different ranges, or 10 different ranges, 5 different positions.
So, but it was
Didn't anybody in your squad forget to move?
Yes.
Yep. Same with ours.
Yeah. It just,
But were you guys able to say you forgot to?
We did.
You did?
Yeah, we did.
That was kind of, after the match, everybody gets together, talks, here and there. Some people were like, no, you can't do that. And then some people were like, yeah, we're here to get impacts and help out.
Like that. Yeah, we didn't do a lot of, there wasn't a lot of coaching per se, but in that stage particularly,
no,
we did stop someone, or I should say, remind them to move. Otherwise, it would have thrown them off.
Yeah,
literally the rest of the stage, right?
Yeah.
So, and we figured that this stage had presented enough challenge on its own that,
because we had someone do the same thing. They shot twice off the top of the spool, and then did move, shot twice again, and then they went to dial again and went racked around. They're like, did you forget to move? Because I was on glass, so I wasn't paying attention to their movement. I was watching the targets.
Right.
And apparently he didn't move, and so that was 2 points lost right there.
Yeah.
But for me, I had a talk with another guy of left side versus right side. And then another stage said they went left, center, right, center, left. We just went left and then center, left, center, left, center.
And we did too. And the stage in front of us, the squad in front of us, I should say, heard us kind of discuss, our squad discussing it before we started.
Yeah.
And they thought you had to do left side, center, right side, center, left side. You had to rotate your sides.
Yeah.
And we got clarification from match director that you didn't have to rotate. So we ended up with left, center, left, center, left, center, and which cut down on some of the movement.
Oh yeah.
So that helped.
Yep.
And on a stage like that where there's so much going on, an extra second or two in between 10 different or 5 different movements. That's an extra 5 or 10 seconds.
Yep. And then someone asked me, why did you go left spool instead of right spool? And with the right, you're lined up. I'm like, exactly. The right, you're lined up, so your mag could hit the bottom or the part of the spool that you're on.
Yep.
So that's why I said I'm going left, because then I have to angle a little bit to be able to reach over and get those. But I was able to clean it up until the last 2 shots where I was running low on time. And so it was dial for it real quick, do that, quick do math as I'm holding over for the second one type of deal.
Yeah, there was a lot, like I said, a lot going on that stage.
Yeah.
Makes it fun. Frustrating maybe while you're doing it, but
they were also really well heated when we got to it, even though 3 stages have already shot it by the time we got to it. I know I've said this before, I do not like painted targets. It's unfair. Because when my squad, the first guy went and shot, well, guess what? He got his win right off the bat, because it was a fresh white target on stage 1 that we started on.
Yeah.
It was like, well, there's that win, and what'd you do? Oh, 2 tenths. Okay. You did 2 tenths. Okay. And you center punch that plate.
Yeah.
But
it definitely helps. But I guess theoretically, everyone starts on clean plates at the beginning of the day. So the argument can be made that it's not advantage or disadvantage, but
Well, you start on a KOL. How much of an advantage or disadvantage?
that one turned out to not be an advantage for us.
Exactly.
So sometimes
leave them over it.
Sometimes you get on the lucky side of that draw, and sometimes you get on the losing side of it.
So those targets were fresh white, even though 3 stages went through, and that grass with the sun shining on it.
Yeah.
Like you said, thank goodness they were marked. Yeah. Because I couldn't tell the difference between the kneeling guy, the bazooka guy. It was so bright and white, and the grass glistened.
If on top of everything that was involved with that stage, if you would have had to try to distinguish between the Army men at the same time, it would have been a complete disaster.
Yep.
So,
but I even wrote on my dope card last night, the order of it, the bazooka guy, the pistol guy. I even wrote the order, so in case there was no call outs, no help, no nothing. I had it all written down, but there's no way to see.
Yeah.
And it was tough. And then one guy in our squad shot the pistol off the close guy, shot the pistol.
Broke the target.
Yeah, broke the pistol bit off of the guy pointing the pistol. I'm like, well, good thing he's got it identified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our squad had some wind challenges there. We had some wind that was flipping from 10:30 to 1:30 wind, and so it was another dynamic to the stage. But that's the luck of the draw. Sometimes some stages you get lucky with wind, and some stages you don't.
No.
All right. The next stage was small big game hunt. It was a 14-round stage. We had to shoot targets from 240 yards in, starting far to near, 240 yards into 95. And the barricade was, what is that? That's a new barricade. It's called a pyramid. And you had to engage each target and then move to another spot, unused spot or previously used spot on the pyramid. So this was another one of my very first stages of the day when I hadn't decided that I was going to show up yet.
Yeah.
It was a 14-round stage. I decided to, load them all in a mag and not have to worry about a mag change. But that top rung, it probably didn't bother you, but that top rung on that pyramid,
Yep.
I started out on that.
How'd that work?
I didn't shoot it, but I wasted.
Just use that stool over the tripod.
I would have had to use the stool. So I wasted probably 10 seconds or so trying
up there
to see if I was going to make it work, and then I decided not to.
Yep.
And then without shooting a shot, I just went to the one below it and proceeded. But I ran out of time on that. I only got 8 rounds of the 14 off. I had some target acquisition issues. And then, of course, choosing the level of pyramid as well.
No.
And of the 8 rounds I got off, I only hit 3 of them. So I really struggled on it. Like I said, that was one of my early stages.
Yeah, out of 14 rounds, I think I got 12 off, and I connected on 5 of them, and I didn't get the last 2 at that prairie dog that we talked about.
You didn't get them on.
I didn't even get to it. I moved, and they said you got 2 seconds. I'm like, there's no way I can get on this target and responsibly get a round off.
It seems,
Prone would have been a good one.
That would have been a good prone stage. He didn't have the targets dispersed. There wasn't a whole lot of left-right swinging that had to go on, but just the way that they were placed, I struggle with some acquisition. I think sometimes stages, when I approach a stage, if it immediately seems like it'll be a simple stage, those are usually the ones that trip me up. So.
Yeah, like South Dakota. Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Just do each. Just go for it.
This is another debacle. This was the 3rd stage of the day for our squad, and I still hadn't showed up yet. So,
See, these were the last 2 stages for me, so it was just crushing.
This stage is called Across South Dakota. It's a prone stage, and you have to engage double tap targets from 100 yards out to 200 yards in 25-yard increments. And they're all in the shape of the state of South Dakota. It's prone. It's a troop line. There's no swinging. It's easy to find the targets. 10 rounds, 2 minutes, piece of cake.
Straightforward. Double tap.
And I hit 4 out of 10.
I got a 5 out of 10. And so that was, for us, it was later in the day where we had that 11 to 1 o'clock wind.
Yeah.
Well, I felt it on my face because it's been switching for a while, right?
Yeah.
I felt it on my face. I was looking at Mirage. I could see it. So I started shooting. Just impact. I'm like, okay, I got this. Impact, got it. Impact, miss. Ooh, bummer. Miss. I'm like, are you kidding me? Then the last one, miss.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's my 5. Well, I had an 11-shot mag. So I'm like, okay, I got one more. I'm going to send one more. So I was watching the Mirage right to left. Feeling the wind right to left. I can feel it. And so I was holding off a 0.5 mil at that far target. Nothing. I'm like, I wonder, because you look at windy weather app and all that stuff, it's saying the wind should be coming this way. I look at that before I shot. I always do. And it says it should be coming from 11 o'clock. I'm like, so I held off 0.5 mil left.
The other way.
Impacted it. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple stages, and I don't remember if it was this one. It could very well have been this one, where you had right to left wind on the close targets, and then it was left to right on the far targets, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And looking at the terrain, the lay of the land, you wouldn't think it.
Yeah.
But there was some swirling or some valleys or something that we weren't seeing that was diverting that wind.
And that's why I'm glad he did it up top. Because I know we talked about, or maybe with you or Chris or someone else, but we talked about he's got a range down the hill from where the clubhouse is. It's down a hill. You got to hike down a hill, then down another hill, then walk across a little bit. It would have been difficult for getting 60 people over there, but that is a very square range. It is it's just all one direction.
Sure.
There is no valleys and wind. It's just one direction. So I am glad he did it up top, because then we had the iffy winds that we did, made it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and I, of course, we all complain about the wind, but I realize, and anyone who's played this game any length of time understands that you got to shoot the wind.
Yep.
To learn to read wind.
Yep.
And so you got to have these conditions with wind going both directions on the same stage, and you got to shoot those to be able to appreciate them out and get better at it.
Yeah.
But that was a deceivingly difficult stage.
Yeah, because like you said, it's just...
I mean, walk up to it. It's a troop line.
Double tap, go.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
You don't have to do nothing except read wind and dial elevation. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
And it was a challenge.
Very much so.
All right. Next one is it's called the Triangle Stagger. This is a 15-round stage. And this was triangles, of course, from 30 yards out to 125 yards. The barricade was a bench. So solid bench, barricade, nothing, no wobble.
What'd you do on that?
Bagged it.
You bagged it?
I bagged it.
I bought, my whole squad did. I started something.
But it was kind of narrow, right?
Yep.
So you had to just run your bipod
Ran all the way in.
with a bag, rear bag.
Yep. I started something. Because the squad in front of us, I'm pretty sure they bagged it. I'm looking at it, I'm like, another thing, sorry, but pre-stage it. I heard someone got docked 2 points for pre-stage.
Okay.
But then, further along, there's other people pre-staging and doing stuff. But I don't remember ever hearing at the beginning that you can't pre-stage. And typically NRL 22 stuff that we shot 5 of other stages, you could pre-stage. So I didn't want to get docked 2 points.
Right.
So I did pre-stage, but I did go up there and put my arm on it. That's how far my bipod needs to be.
Sure.
So I did do that. So I ran it in. I'm like, yeah, for sure I can run my bipod, run it in, and then run rear back. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the squad's like, oh, okay, that worked. Keep going.
No one, but that's kind of a domino effect. Not always,
Yep.
but the leadoff shooter in each squad, a lot of times sets kind of the momentum in motion for other people.
Just like us at Dillon's, man.
Yep.
Using that tripod on that ERS barricade, just go straight across.
Yeah. But, it doesn't always happen that way, but
Bailey season right there.
there you go.
Love those guys.
So, but yeah, just the triangle. So, bagged it. I was rock solid. I had trouble, not necessarily my squad, but I had trouble with some wind. And, with triangles, I got a psychological problem with triangles
So-
anyway.
I gave a guy a hint. A pro shooter, bigger than me, much bigger than me. So I'm nobody. They said, dial up the tap, aim at the bottom.
Oh, dial up a 10th and then aim at the bottom of the plate, bottom edge.
Yep.
Because that's going to give you the most wind
Yep.
variance.
Because it's a triangle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I've done this where I get my dope to the center of the target or
Yeah.
to the distance and then take a 10th out of it. So, shoot a theoretically, and then
Yeah,
it's still,
yeah.
and then still,
Theoretically doing
point
the
of
same
aim
thing.
is still center of the plate.
Yep.
Theoretically dropping my impact. But I had some wind issues. I couldn't get a beat on it. And then I got chasing it, and then that didn't work out so well. 15 round, I got 6 rounds off. Or I'm sorry, I got them all off. Connected at 6. Flaw was a struggle.
Yeah, so that one, the squad promised were begging it, and they went. It was near to far, far to near, near to far. And the first 2 were close enough in dope that I'm like, yeah, we'll hit. So I just put the difference on them. So I just boom, boom, and I dialed the whole thing.
Okay.
Every target except the first 2. Dialed out, dialed in, then just held the same for the last 2 or the first 2, whatever way you want to go. And then went back out, and I think I missed the very last shot, or the second to last shot. So I got a 14. I was pretty happy.
Yeah, I dialed everything on that, well, except the first 2, because they were jumped at a 10th, down a 10th,
Yep.
and 51 yards is basically zeroed. So,
Yep.
but then I dialed all the rest of them. So,
Yeah.
15 rounds. I've never shot a match with a 15 round stage before.
Oh, you got to use that whole leg.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. Got to,
I don't know how to do make training. Oh, I have 15 round.
Woodrow doesn't make a 15 round.
Not right now. I had 14 rounds, so there.
And then you could have single advanced that 15.
Yeah, I could have.
Rimex, you can't do that.
Nope.
All right. Then the last stage, not necessarily of the day, it turned out to be my squad's last stage of the day. And I was lucky enough to start off our squad.
Oh, there you go.
So this was called Where Did That Code Come From? It's a 10 round stage. This stage had 6 targets on it. 5 kind of in a left to right troop line of animals ranging from 73 out to 142. But in between or after engaging each of the poppers, you had to swing about 45 degrees to the left and shoot at a raccoon target out at 231 yards. And you had to shoot it from a match-provided tripod, and you couldn't make any adjustments to the height of the tripod at all.
I'm happy it was a 2 bets.
Well, I'm happy that they did provide a stool for short shooters.
You were worried about that, weren't you?
But then the height of the tripod was made it kind of laughable, because I'm like, there better not have been.
Yeah, right.
Had
I agree.
because I expected it to be like full height, and it was actually what
I had to bend over hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, I felt it was I was solid.
Yep.
I got off to a really good start on it. 6. I got all 10 rounds off. Connected on 6 about. I was the guinea pig of the squad, and everyone takes turns doing that.
Yep.
turned out there was only one shooter in my squad that shot better than that, but it was fun. There was movement, but the target acquisition on that stage for me was not a problem at all.
Yeah, because they were pretty easy going across that hill.
Yeah, they were.
And that raccoon was the only target out there. For me, I got, 10 rounds? So I got a 9 out of 10 because the first one, got that, went to the coon, shot, was off on wind, went to the next one, shot that, and then adjusted for wind and got it, and then I just ran it back and forth.
Yeah,
And thank God it was a 2-vets with the 2-vets head, because the guy before me tightened it up, but then I got on it, and I got on that first target, and it was just slowly falling down, like, no. So I was fighting the head.
okay.
So I got on that target, shot, got off my rifle when it was obviously open,
Yeah.
and tightened up the head on it because it was slowly slanting down on me. So I had to tighten it up. It was panning away and slowly tilting down, so I had to tighten it up and then swivel over to the coon. But yeah, it was moving on me.
Yeah,
But they did put, we didn't mention, he did put like a big Gray Ops amp plate on it.
yes.
So we had a big surface to shoot off top of.
And it pivoted,
Yep.
so that was helpful.
Yep.
So you weren't getting resistance by trying to turn on a stationary bag. So that helped. That I started off really well with that stage. The wind I had a beat on the wind right from the start, and I think I made 5 of my 6 hits, were the first 5 shots.
Yeah.
And then the wind switched on me, and I couldn't get it back. I knew I was reading Mirage. I knew the wind was there, but like on that raccoon, I went from left edge to a 0.5 mil off plate, and that was a 1.2.
Oh, really?
That was a 1.2 mil wide target. I ended up a 0.5 mil off the left side and still missing right.
See, I put a mill right in the middle, and that's what I had to do.
So I didn't have any more shots after that to chase it down. So that was just me not being able to recognize how much wind had picked up.
Yeah.
And that was on me.
Now.
Fun stage though.
Yeah, I thought it was fun name too.
Yeah.
Where'd that coon come from? Because you were transitioning to it every time, and
Yeah. They had a hit indicator on that raccoon.
yeah, I was giving the guy before me a hard time because I'm like, it has a hit indicator. Can you let us know how it works?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was overall it was a good day. We had probably over the course of the day 5 to maybe 15 mile an hour gusts.
Yeah.
5 miles, maybe it's 5 to 10 or 11, but
Yeah.
then occasional 15 mile an hour gusts. So the wind wasn't nearly as bad as we have shot in.
Like the day before.
But it was kind of switchy. We talked about some of the stages where it was deceiving. The wind was left to right on the close targets and right to left on the far.
Yeah.
If you picked up on that, you did well. If you didn't, you didn't.
Yeah.
So,
But no, all in all, a good match. It went well. I went in there with the state championship, wanting to win that. That was 300 points. I had a perfect score there, 3 wins, and won the match overall by 5 points. And then obviously because of that, I won the championship for South Dakota. So yeah, it was a good day. Not bad.
yeah, congratulations. That was an awesome performance today, and
It was a good time.
it was a good time.
Yeah.
Anytime you can spend all day squeezing triggers is a good day.
Yeah, it was a long day, but it was good. But yeah, well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the range next time. Thanks.